Okay, time for another review. This one is on fat loss for idiots, and I'm really going to talk more about the 10 rules that they tout more so than I am the product itself. I can tell you that I have firsthand experience with somebody who's used this particular diet, and they didn't get the 9 pounds in 11 days. I believe they got, or she got 8 pounds in 11 days. There are plenty of testimonials. There's plenty of reviews out there on fat loss for idiots. I think the overwhelming majority of them have been positive from what I can tell, our research that we've looked at. So I kind of want to get into a little bit and tell you a little bit more about what the diet is all about. Okay, Fat Loss for Idiot uses 10 simple rules to help you lose weight. And I'm going to briefly go over them. We don't have time to go over them in great detail. But rule number one is manipulating calories, and I'm not going to read the page to you, but basically what they're talking about is rotating the different types of calories. You've got protein, carbohydrates, and fats. And the diet generator that they have allows you to select foods that you like, and it will print out or give you a diet um, that rotates these calories and manipulates these calories to help you with your fat loss program. So that's the first rule that they tout. Okay, rule number two is not a big secret. They say eat 4 meals a day. It's been my experience that eating 5 meals is actually probably better for you. But get away from like a lot of people dieting. They may eat once or twice a day. Really, it's better for you to eat multiple times a day. And there's been extensive research on keeping your blood sugar levels at a good level instead of having everything bouncing up and down in there. So, this here, though it's one of their rules, it's not a new rule. It is one that we need to be reminded of, though. Rule number three is prepare your meals at home, and if you have to, take them with you. And I can tell you from my point, I carry my meals with me and everything that I eat. And it's not because I don't want to eat out. I do. It's just the portions that you receive in the restaurants are typically a lot more than what you should be eating. If you prepare it at home, you already have it. When you go there, you're not tempted to overeat. Plus, it will keep you on the particular form of calories that you're supposed to be eating. So, rule number three is prepare your meals at home. Rule number four centers around rotating your foods, and it's also kind of part of the calorie shifting. What you want to do is have different portions of carbs and proteins on different days and kind of mix them up so that your body doesn't get used to any one thing. Your metabolism is like anything else. Over time, it will develop a memory, and it will know what you're going to do, and it adjusts, and that kind of sabotages your weight loss a lot of times. So by rotating the foods, we eliminate that. Again, not a new concept, just one that they've put down for us to use. This is one I'm sure we're going to get a little bit of backlash from. Plain is better. In other words, don't use condiments. Most of your condiments are just loaded with carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are what your body converts into fat, and that's what it stores up. And this is not a low carb or no carb diet by any means, but in sticking with the food rotation that we want to do, we do want to stay within the bounds of the diet. So when we add the condiments on there, whatever type they may be, we're adding a lot of extra carbs that we don't necessarily need. One of the hardest things for just about any of us to learn, and this goes away from dieting, but just eating right, is rule number six, knowing when to stop. Most of us eat until we feel completely full. And then if it's on a Thanksgiving, we'll lay up on the couch all day and nap. Really, you need to stop right before you get to that point. You still want to be just a little bit hungry when you quit eating. And that's rule number six of fat loss for idiots. They go into more detail about it. But, knowing when to stop is very important. Rule number seven concerns beverages and what you should and shouldn't drink. Their rule is 10 calories or less per glass. I'm not a big fan of diet sodas or iced tea or or coffee, and there's a lot of reasons behind it. I'm not going to get into that, but for weight loss, a lot of the fruit juices that everybody touts that we should be drinking, they have a lot more calories than 10. You're better off to stay away from those in the beginning. I would say stick to water would be my advice versus the diet sodas. But with this particular plan, you can drink the diet sodas and you can drink the low-cal coffee. Rule 8 gets back into the drinking the water to help burn the fat. Our bodies, it needs a certain mixture to perform at its peak. Um, Drinking 8 to 10 glasses of water per day is important. It helps with the digestion. It helps keep you properly hydrated. And it will also help make you feel a little bit full, which helps with the overeating. I I strongly suggest, and I agree with this rule completely, that 8 to 10 glasses of water per day is a minimum. It wouldn't hurt if you drank a little bit more. Okay, the folks at Weight Loss for Idiots, or Fat Loss for Idiots, excuse me, it used to be called Weight Loss for Idiots, stress that walking is not part of their diet program, but they do say that as a secondary, or as a secondary part of their diet program, it would not hurt to walk, 30 minutes a day. They say 2 sessions of 30 minutes, but if you get out and exercise, just mild exercise of walking, 30 minutes a day, or 30 minutes every other day, it's certainly going to aid in your weight loss, and it will aid in your cardiovascular workout as well. They say that, and they stress that you don't need it for the first part of the diet, but I would strongly suggest, if you can find it in your time, to get out and just walk 30 minutes every day. And the last rule is stop looking for fat-free foods, and start kind of avoiding everything that's sweet. We get into fat-free, but a lot of this fat-free stuff is loaded with sugars. And we get into the craving, we get into the way the body burns sugars, and what happens behind there. But basically, you want to stop eating all those type of things, especially while you're on this particular diet. When you get off, I'm a big favor of, after a particular period of time, whatever it happens to be, that you treat yourself. But as a general rule, stop looking for the fat-free sweet things. There's still a lot of sugar in them. It's still going to impede your weight loss. And again, that's rule number 10 in Fat Loss for Idiots. Okay, the rest of the diet handbook, it's just they've got a recap of the 10 rules. It talks about sit-ups and why sit-ups are a waste of time, and it would take me too long to really get into that. It talks about not doing intense exercises, and this is true unless you're already into a pretty good exercise program. It gives you a little bit of the background of why low-carb diets don't work and can actually be bad for your health. It talks a little bit about some of the rules that you might want to put in place for eating for the rest of your life. There's a section here on eating at restaurants and how to go about doing that and still maintain your weight. Another section on eating fast foods. Some tips on shopping at the grocery store. Talks about the rules with alcohol. Exercising and diet put together. How to break up your meals and when to split them apart. I eat mine about every 2 hours during the day. Talks about late night eating. Again, my last heavy meal is by 4:30 or 5 in the afternoon, and I will have a snack probably an hour to an hour and a half before I go to bed. Some tricks to stop retaining water, and it's got the different foods that you need to avoid. Talks about the scale. As you can see, this diet book here, it goes along great with the diet program. You've got the diet generator, and I'll show that in the next video. But you've got the diet generator, now you have the book, and it will show you how to successfully lose weight and keep it off. All right, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Again, we've been talking about Fat Loss for Idiots and the diet handbook. If you have any questions, please feel free to email them to the ultimateweightlosscenter.com, and those folks over there will be happy to try and get you an answer. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and watch out for the next one coming out on the diet generator.